Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. We bring you a global news recap covering the most pressing stories of the day. Tonight, we take a somber look at the devastating impact of conflict on Iran's medical facilities. Meanwhile, in the UK, supply shortages have prompted contingency planning amid rising tensions with Iran. The stalled Islamabad talks between the US and Iran are also raising concerns about the ongoing conflict. We'll examine these stories, as well as developments from Israel and Lebanon, and the unexpected move by former US President Donald Trump to cancel diplomatic talks. As the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine continues to unfold, a heartbreaking reality is emerging in Iran, where devastating attacks are crippling the nation's healthcare system. The devastating impact of war on Iran's medical facilities cannot be overstated. On February 28, 2026, a joint strike by the US and Israel targeted the office of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, resulting in his death and that of several senior government officials. However, a month later, on April 1st and 2nd, another attack hit the Pasteur Institute of Iran, leaving its headquarters and 13 source laboratories in ruins. Founded in 1920 by the French and Iranian governments, the Pasteur Institute is one of the most prestigious scientific research centers in the Middle East. It has played a vital role in combating infectious diseases worldwide and is part of an international network of 33 institutes leading the fight against pandemics. The institute's headquarters are older than Israel itself, with many facilities predating even the presidential office, Supreme National Security Council, and Assembly of Experts. The attack on the Pasteur Institute raises serious questions about the targeting of civilian infrastructure in the conflict. According to one scientist, who wished to remain anonymous due to safety concerns, how dare they destroy such a piece of history? The destruction of the institute is not only a loss for Iran, but also for the global community, which relies on its cutting-edge research and expertise. The international community must condemn this attack and hold those responsible accountable. The Pasteur Institute's destruction serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of war on civilians and critical infrastructure. It is essential to prioritize humanitarian efforts and protect medical facilities from further harm. As tensions escalate with Iran, the UK is taking a step back to reassess its security posture amidst growing concerns about supplies. Britain is ramping up contingency planning due to fears of a supply shortage following the escalation of tensions with Iran. The UK government has been acting swiftly in response to concerns over the potential disruption of global oil and gas shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. Chief Secretary to the Treasury Darren Jones stated that the government is taking proactive measures to mitigate the economic impact, with twice-weekly meetings of a response group aimed at maintaining supply chain stability. Ministers have reassured the public that there are currently no fuel shortages, but warned of potential price pressures on essential goods such as energy, food, and flights. According to Jones, Britons can expect higher prices for these items for several months after the conflict ends, with an estimated 8-month timeline from resolution. The Prime Minister is set to chair a cabinet committee this week to coordinate the response. The situation has already led to increased global costs due to energy production and transport disruptions linked to the conflict. Officials have drawn up worst-case scenarios, including potential food shortages if the situation worsens. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer will work closely with international partners to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and stabilize markets. The UK government has pledged to keep the public informed as the situation evolves. As tensions in the region continue to rise, investors and consumers are bracing for potential price shocks that could reverberate globally. We're now shifting our focus to a developing crisis in the Middle East, where diplomatic efforts to ease tensions between the US and Iran have hit a roadblock. The US-Iran conflict has hit a stalemate as diplomatic talks mediated by Islamabad continue to stall. The situation escalated into a global energy crisis and risks sparking a recession. Key players include US President Donald Trump, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. US President Trump has canceled his envoy's planned visit to Pakistan, citing concerns over the talks being inadequate and involving too much travel expense. He believes Iran's leadership is divided and lacks resolve, stating that nobody knows who is in charge. In a social media post, Trump claimed the US holds all the cards and wrote that if Iran wants to talk, it needs to call. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has rejected any talks while the US maintains its blockade on Iranian ports. In a phone call with Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Pezeshkian urged Washington to remove operational obstacles before new negotiations can begin. This includes lifting the blockade of Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway for global oil supplies. The conflict has far-reaching implications. The energy crisis is already affecting major economies and pushing the world closer to recession. A lasting ceasefire remains elusive as neither side shows willingness to compromise. Islamabad's efforts to mediate between Washington and Tehran have so far yielded little progress. With tensions remaining high, a breakthrough in talks seems increasingly unlikely. As the situation continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the US-Iran conflict has significant global implications that need to be addressed urgently. Following a series of escalating tensions in the Middle East, Israel and Hezbollah have engaged in a cycle of retaliatory strikes in Lebanon, sparking international concern. Israel and Hezbollah have traded strikes in Lebanon, escalating tensions in the region. The latest exchange of fire occurred on Tuesday, with Israeli warplanes targeting suspected Hezbollah rocket launch sites in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah has since fired back, launching rockets towards Israel's northern city of Haifa. The Israeli military responded with airstrikes on Lebanese positions, causing damage and casualties. The conflict comes as direct talks between the United States and Iran to end their war remain stalled. Washington had been seeking to establish a ceasefire in Yemen and Syria, but negotiations have hit an impasse. U.S. officials say that Iran's support for militant groups like Hezbollah is hindering efforts to find common ground with Tehran. Meanwhile, Iran accuses U.S. actions as aggressive and claims it will not be intimidated into backing down on its regional interests. This latest escalation in the conflict highlights the fragility of ceasefires in Lebanon, where Hezbollah has been waging a long-running insurgency against Israel's government. The tensions also come as the international community grapples with the consequences of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Yemen. As a major regional player, Iran plays a key role in this conflict, providing military support to Hezbollah and fueling its anti-Israel rhetoric. With talks on hold, fears are growing that the violence could spiral out of control, drawing in other countries and causing further instability in the region. Following a sudden and unexpected move by former U.S. President Donald Trump, a key diplomatic visit has been abruptly canceled in South Asia today. The planned trip by U.S. officials to Pakistan for talks on the Iran war has been canceled. This decision was made by U.S. President Donald Trump, just hours after Tehran's delegation had left Islamabad. The reason behind this cancellation is attributed to Trump's statement that Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner would be wasting too much time if they were to engage in talks with Iran. Earlier, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghi had met with mediator Pakistan, sharing his country's position on ending the war. However, he stated that he had yet to see whether the U.S. was truly serious about diplomacy. Diplomatic efforts have stalled despite Trump's extension of a ceasefire that had been due to expire on April 22nd. The cancellation comes as both sides remain locked in a standoff over the Strait of Hormuz, with Iran restricting passage through the key shipping route. The U.S. has increased its naval presence in the strait to block Iranian oil exports. This development is concerning, given that roughly a fifth of the world's oil supply passes through this route. The White House had announced the trip on Friday, stating that the Iranians want to talk. However, Iran denied any plans for a direct meeting. Trump claimed there was tremendous infighting and confusion within Iran's leadership, suggesting that nobody knows who is in charge. He also stated that if Iran wants to talk, they should simply call him. The cancellation of this trip raises questions about the U.S. commitment to diplomacy in the region and whether it will lead to a resumption of hostilities between the U.S. and Iran. That's all for today's news recap. We'll be back with more updates tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest news from around the world. Stay up to date on global events with our channel. See you next time.